Hi, my name is Michael. Um, I'm gonna read a story that I did from a program called Life Song that I'm taking with Barclay Macmillan. I think it was my week 3 assignment, an allegorical autobiography, sort of myth or fairy tale kind of life. So this story is fictional, and I tried to focus on the spiritual truths I thought I kind of learned in my life rather than making sure it was factual to actually what occurred. Hope you like it. It's called The Boy with the Sword of Truth. Once upon a time, a boy and his girlfriend were walking in a city. They came to a dark place not familiar to them, where some men stood. One man said, "Look what we have here," as they surrounded the boy and girl. The girl screamed as they grabbed him and punched him, but she was the one they were really interested in. The boy tried to fight and was knocked unconscious. When he came to, someone was talking to police and paramedics, colored lights flashing. His girlfriend was lying on the ground, bloody, with her clothes torn off. She was dead. As the police were interrogating him and paramedics were wheeling him into the ambulance, the Archangel Michael came to the boy, and everything else went blurry. "I cannot bring her back, but she is in a better place now," the angel said. "If you seek justice for your love, I will give you a sword." The boy sobbed as he told Michael that he could not kill anybody. The angel replied, "This is the sword of truth. It is not for killing living beings, but for cutting through lies and delusions." The boy accepted the sword, just as a police person began asking him questions about what had happened. Time passed. The boy felt many strong emotions from what had happened. One day he went to see a psychiatrist. "I always wanted to be a hero," the boy said. "Sometimes I think it's because I didn't feel I would be loved without saving someone or solving their problems. Something that would make them need me. Trying to be a hero is not safe, and even if I was willing to sacrifice myself to protect someone I love, it seems like I don't have the strength to fight back against a gang. I see other wrong things in the world and I feel guilty, and I feel helpless to do anything, denying myself happiness and yet not making a positive difference. Sometimes I would like to be able to just wish all the pain, the evil people in the world away." The psychiatrist answered, "What is evil, really? Some people think there are people who are inherently bad, but from my experience, what most people call evil is often people who use a less positive strategy to get their needs met, because for whatever other reason, they could not, or believe they could not, get their needs met otherwise. Wishes can be a double-edged sword. There is a Chinese curse, may you get what you wish for. It is about what people want being different from what people need. Someone has one wish and wishes for infinite wishes, then wishes for everything they could possibly want. Then life starts to lose its meaning. Pleasure becomes hollow. There are no struggles to overcome. Only then does he realize it is not the things themselves that he really seeks, but the opportunity to go on a journey and work for something and grow. So the last wish he makes is to know what to wish for, so he can be wise about what will really make him grow and be happy." Before the boy left, they said a familiar prayer together. "God, give me the courage to change what I can, the serenity to accept what I cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference." Never did this mean so much to the boy as it did that day. While walking one day, the boy heard some screams, and then saw a man beating a young woman. She was begging him to let her go. There were some people nearby on the street, so the boy spoke to them, saying, "Someone is being hurt over there. I think she needs help." A man nearest him replied, "This is a good neighborhood. You must be mistaken." The young woman yelled and screamed, and she cried, loud enough for all of those people to hear. The people looked away from the boy, turning their eyes downward, and hurriedly rushing away. The boy went to the police station to report what he had seen. A police officer was bringing in a prostitute roughly, saying she was a criminal, she was going to jail now, and went off to do the paperwork, while the boy was writing a statement on what he'd witnessed for the supervising officer. Most prostitutes are human trafficking victims, forced to work against their will, and hurt, but not really hurting anyone with their work, the boy said. Why do the police arrest the women, and not the people forcing them to do this? Well, it's the law, the supervisor answered, and that officer seems pretty sure she did something wrong. The boy felt the sword of truth strike sharply from his tongue. Being wrong feels just like being right, until you realize you are wrong. It is not through simply conviction of one's beliefs that makes one moral, but in questioning them and constantly realizing what is the real truth. Answering the question, I should probably rewrite that, which is not always immediately evident. The supervisor walked over to the prostitute, telling her she could go. Stay away from the playgrounds and schools. I don't want people hunting for sex, trolling those places. When the boy was finished, the prostitute, who had heard some of what he had said, came to him to thank him. He talked with her as he walked her home, and they became friends. The boy was talking with his yoga instructor friend after her class one day. I feel torn between social pressure to let things go and guilt to do something, even something dangerous, that would make little difference. I try to tell people what is wrong in the world, or with them, and they won't listen to me. I try not to preach to people how to live, but show them by living my own truth, she said. Sometimes people suppress things that are difficult for them. Sometimes they try to express things. But to really transform things, sometimes you have to sit with them, even though it may be really uncomfortable. But that is how you grow. Later, he went to talk to his Zen instructor. How do you deal with these strong emotions? How can I reach people? In order to deal with negative emotions, we do not run from them. That would be doing violence to them, the Zen instructor said. We use mindfulness practices and concentration to help surround the negative emotion energy. When you do this, this will help relieve you as it begins to subside, and as you do this, sometimes it helps bring insight into the suffering. Happiness is made of non-happiness elements, like suffering. It is like the mud in which the lotus is grown, that becomes a part of the lotus, without which the lotus cannot exist. But the lotus is no longer the mud. It has been transformed by the energy of mindfulness, he continued. In order to reach people, one powerful tool is deep listening. When a person is truly listened to, sometimes this helps them deal with their own strong emotions, so they can face the truth with their own mindfulness and begin to solve their own problems. The boy went to the Zen group's wishing away ceremony, wishing away desires for vengeance, but still committing to do something in the spirit of love and remembrance for his lost girlfriend, to seek some kind of justice and transformation in the world. He went to a cafe of wise and creative people whose hearts and spirits were strong, and there shared in this space some poetry and music dedicated to her. The boy and the prostitute spent some time together, becoming more interested in one another, but the boy found that he treated her poorly sometimes, and their relationship was strained. He wanted to help her, but instead he seemed to make things harder for her, treating her sometimes as something to be used, the very things that had hurt him and his dead girlfriend so deeply before. The boy met a shaman woman and decided to ask her for help. The shaman explained the boy had demons in him which were giving him trouble, that an angel, a gift, had become corrupted and fallen, and that it needed to be returned to source, to be purified, to be the gift once more that it was intended as. She said his stubbornness would turn into determination, his wrath and vengefulness into compassion, understanding, and justice. The roots of all of the evil you see are within yourself, the shaman explained. There is a spiritual root to all physical problems, and we bring certain things into our lives because of choices we make. The problems we face arise because there is a certain lesson it is meant to teach us. Avoid facing it or run, and it will chase you, returning again and again. But if you face it and learn the lesson, understand the spiritual contract you made that is keeping the problem with you, like playing the victim because you want to deal with your emotions and need to be acknowledged by getting sympathy from others, you can rewrite the contract. Mysteriously, the problem will disappear. So, young one, chosen of Archangel Michael, know that the world is perfect as it is, even the existence of evil. To conquer evil within and without, you must face your demons and seize your destiny. There was chanting and dancing, and the shaman pounded the boy's chest as the fire leapt, shouting, "Demons, be gone!" and awakening his heart chakra. The boy hoped very much that the demons were gone the next day, because his chest was still very sore. The boy decided to help a prostitute who he cared for, who did not want to be in that profession. He went to some activist friends for advice on how he could help her. Solidarity, not charity, they said. You cannot fight someone else's oppression, only be in solidarity with them. To be truly free, a person has to find courage to fight their own oppression, with the solidarity of friends. It is in their own struggle to be free, with their own efforts, where they become stronger and learn to throw off their own mental cages and old paradigms, freeing them from the things inside them which enslave them. Once you are free in your heart and mind, you can learn how to free yourself in your physical circumstances. The people united will never be defeated, they encouraged. The boy and a number of friends went to the house where the pimp was. Yeah, you know it. Just kidding, that never happened in real life. And the prostitute confronted him. I am not your mother. I'm not your old girlfriends. I'm not all the other women and people who have hurt you. I am not your bitch. I am free. Then get out of here then, the enraged pimp said. Spittle on the screen. The boy could feel the sword of truth piercing his own heart, and so he knew that, in his own way, the pimp was a victim too. So he decided to talk with him quietly, alone. I know you have been wronged, and you suffer. I know you see and loathe the darkness in yourself at times, and struggle to love yourself, and do not believe another would really love you. You are one of God's creations. A shard of His perfection is in your soul. If you can believe this, that God loves you, and will commit to face the darkness in yourself, as long as you never give up on the good in yourself, neither will God. With that, the pimp wept. The boy and the young woman who had been a prostitute were a couple now, and walking one day, they saw the pimp giving flowers to a woman who slapped him. The boy and the young woman together went to the pimp, and they talked, and listened to the pimp, that he was trying to start a new life, washing dishes in a restaurant. Being listened to, the man who had been a pimp gained courage to not give up. The ex-pimp went back to work, and the boy and young woman sat together. I feel like a man now, the man who had been a boy said. Why? The emancipated woman asked. The man answered, because I stand up for myself and others, and take responsibility for things. I feel I can act with integrity even to those who hurt me. The boy and the girl held each other, knowing whatever else happens to or between them, they would forever remain true friends. The end. And a new beginning, too! Ding!